Hello and welcome back to my channel. So, in this video, we'll be coloring a wig. I have this coloring tools or coloring products from a new brand called Lorich. I bought it in three different tones. There's the white color, there's the violet, and then there's the green. The colors are quite interesting because I'm just curious to know what they would give me at the end of the day. So before we begin, I would like to state that we'll be using this wig. This wig has not been worn by anybody. It's a human hair wig. It was bought and styled and has just been kept for some time. The only thing I did with this wig was when I had to teach you how to tint your lace with a DIY lace tint at home, right? So that was the only thing I did with this wig. So I tinted the lace, as you can see. It's a little browner than it would usually come. So we'll proceed. Today we're going to be coloring this wig and it's going to be fun because um, are going to be seeing a different method that you've not seen online like the others. The tools I'll be using to help with coloring, as you can see on the table, is hot water. So I have to use that kettle so that you know that you must not have a heater to be able to do it. Then we'll also be using that Got2b spray. We're just going to be spraying it on the net. The reason we're doing this is to avoid the color from staining the net. You know those wigs that sometimes maybe you see it's colored purple or red, and then the lace is red with it. That's wrong. It doesn't look natural. So we're going to spray this on it. I'm so sorry. The camera somehow I was not able to get that part, but I'm just spraying that Got2b glue all over it. You can use any hold or any holding spray, but I prefer Got2b, and that's what I basically have really. So I prefer it because it causes less damage to the hair. Most of those sprays or holding sprays that we see in the market, they tend to cause some damage to our hair. So Got2b is safe and I highly recommend. But if you don't have it in your area, you can always use any holding spray. Okay. So you're supposed to dry this after spraying. So you cannot see the fan there, but I just position my lace to the fan so it could dry it off. It's net or rather is lace so it would easily dry off. Or if you have a hand dryer, you can use it. I was not able to use my hand dryer because my socket was a bit far from where I stayed to make this video. So when that first coating is dried, you have to apply a second coating. It may not be necessary, but it's just to avoid maybe the first one did not layer well, and we don't want a situation where what we're trying to avoid is what we're getting, meaning the color staining the net. So we proceed to putting these colors in that our mixing bowl. I could not find my mixing bowl, guys. I just could not find my mixing bowl. So I had to use this ice cream plate. You could use anything really. I'm also comfortable using this I'm improvising because I need you to know that you must not buy everything 100% and stop using that as an excuse for starting. Go and color that wig right away. I know you already have so much love and drive for it, and you're just um waiting for the goal to do it. This is your goal. Go and do it. So I've put in some of the violet color. Yeah, that's the violet color, and I'm going to go proceed to putting in the next colors. I think that should be white. Yeah, that's the white. The white. The colors you would expect that the white should come out in a certain way, right? Well, yeah, that's it. So I proceed to put the white color, as you can see in the video. So the cover of this coloring product has like a piercing, like a needle. So I turn it upside down and I pierce it open to open it. Okay. So I put the violet color, or rather the white, and I proceed now to put in the green. So this Lorich, I've never tried it before, and I'm trying it because I want to see what it will look like, how it will look like. Does it come out like the others? We're going to see. After applying or pouring in those three colors in the same quantity into that ice cream plate or ice cream bowl or mixer, we proceed to using our developer. I'm using the developer in 30% volume. If you're going to be using a 40% volume, that would also be nice. So it is also important to note that the developer is the most active product we're going to be using in this coloring process. In fact, for every coloring process, your developer is the most active. You're typically supposed to use a measurement. So let's say you want to achieve the same kind of color tones for different kind of wigs or for the same kind of wigs, you would have to get a measuring cup and measure everything you use. The sweet thing about coloring is that you can start little and always add. So for everything I've done here, I can choose to go in again to add more color products. If I want more green, I can add that. If I want more white, I can add that. If I want more violet, I can add that. And I can also add more, what's it called? Oh my God. Okay, I can also add more developer to it as well. Just know, mark how much quantity you are using. But since we're doing this for fun, I'm not using any measuring tools or any of that. Then we proceed to stirring it and making sure that everything mixed properly. If you do not mix these things properly, your hair is not going to come out nice. So you're going to have some parts that are going to come out like there's a lot of color and some parts looking like there's nothing in it, right? So it's like when you prepare a meal and you put salt and you don't turn it well. So mixing your products is also an important part when it comes to coloring your hair and even treating your hair in general. See me blowing that. So I'm trying to get the net to completely dry off before we proceed to applying this color on it. All right, so keep watching. During coloring, especially when you're doing it for commercial use, like you're doing it for a client, and maybe it's a color you've never tried before, there's something we call testing. Testing is exactly what you see me doing. I'm only doing this process because I want to show you how it is done. Testing is a process where you just pick some part of the wig or the hair and you apply what you've mixed. This is especially useful if you are mixing multiple colors like we are doing. You apply it, cover it up, leave it for some time, and see if it's going to give you the tone you are looking for. Okay, there's always a first time to everything, we understand. You cannot be a pro from the very first day you start working on something. So this is how you test it. Just put it little at the tips, or you can go all the way up and then you just wrap it like that. If you have a foil, perfect, you wrap it. But I'm using this nylon to let you know that if you don't have a foil, this can also go in. The goal is to make sure that it produces enough heat, so you're covering it up to produce enough heat, because the heat is what is going to start that reaction and then you get the result you were looking for. All right, so remember what I said, we're doing this for fun. So you see me, there's really no measurements of anything. I'm just i'm just playing around and hoping that I get something fantastic at the end of the day. But when you are doing this for commercial use or for a client, right, or you're trying to create your own colors, please go and buy measuring cups or measuring spoon. It is very important, so that when you post that hair and somebody says, hi, I need this hair. You have people placing orders or making a demand of that hair. You are not frustrated and you are not giving them something else versus what they had seen, even though you did both works. So a measuring cup would help you. You would know that to achieve this kind of color for this length of hair, this is the quantity of products I need for at each point. I need to measure 30 mils of red, 20 mils of green, 10 mils of blue to be able to achieve violet, for example, right? Then I also need 60 mils of developer to mix with this, and I need this color to sit in for 40 minutes, and then I wash it off. So that is how it's going to be when you are doing this to achieve a particular color for yourself. So yeah, this now is where the difference is, right? I don't know if you've seen this method, but this method is absolutely what I love, and it absolutely works when you are coloring every part of the hair. So I just poured in the mixture of my products, the three colors I used, with a mixture of the developer, and I was putting it and I realized, okay, there's water in it, so I need to add more developer so that it can be more effective. You can go all the way in with your developer. Just know that if you are putting too much developer, that means you don't want to wait for so long. You want to be checking it at every point so that it does not go out of the color you are expecting to get. So if you're looking for like a deep red, if you leave your developer on for so long, it can turn into a very bright red. All right, so we use the hot water to soak that instead of cold water. We used a hot water, like it's boiled and I brought it to use. So now I've soaked the hair in. I've soaked it in. I'm using that nylon because I don't want that developer to mess up with my fingers. You can get a hand glove, but like I said in the beginning, and I'll continue to say this, I don't want you to say that it's because I don't have a hand glove and that's why I have not colored a wig. So we're going to proceed to covering this up. The best thing I could think of to cover this up was a nylon that does not have any opening, and I put it everything under that nylon, under that bowl, so that there's no escape of heat. Remember, we need the heat to be able to achieve what we are looking for. The heat reacts with everything we've put inside there to give us what we're looking for. We don't know the color we're gonna get. Well, let's keep hope alive, but I think it's gonna come out a little bit brownish, but let's see. So I put this on for I left this over for 10 hours. Crazy, right? I left this for 10 hours. I'm telling you, for 10 hours. And the reason I had to do this was because I realized something. When I was putting the color, I noticed that, the color bases themselves were bright colored. And I said, this one, the color is bright. Like, it's not, you open red, you expect to see red. It's not red like that. It might take a while. So I actually checked it when it was like 3 hours, and I saw that this thing had not gone anywhere. So I left it for 10 hours. It can go as high as 24 hours, right? But the reason we stayed 10 hours is because we did not use bleach. So this is the difference between a coloring that is done with bleach and a coloring that is done without bleach. All right. With bleach, I cannot keep this for 10 hours. I will damage my hair. So with bleach is faster. That's why somebody can tell you, I'll color your hair for you. Give me 48 hours to be ready. We cannot say that when you are doing this without bleach. So as you can see, I didn't in any way use bleach, and this is the best way. So when you're not using bleach, you have to wait longer hours. There's always sacrifice to make when you're trying to achieve something, right? And with this method, your hair is not going to lose its what's the word, texture. Is it texture? It's not going to lose. Is it texture? Yeah. That softness that comes with the hair when you bought it, or that when it was given to you to color. Sometimes after coloring hair, you notice that the dark colors are looking smoother, silkier, and the colored ones are not giving that. It's because most of the time you have applied bleach, especially when it's a colored hair, or the hair have seen a lot of heat ions on it without heat protectant. These are the two causes or two reasons why your hair will always look coarse, and it will always look like you style this hair, you have to keep styling the hair every time you have to wear it. That's because it has lost that original silkness and smoothness. So we'll proceed to washing that out. See, we used to relax our hair those days. If you don't relax it well, you know what happens to your hair. So that's exactly what's going to happen to your wig if you don't wash out these things well. Remember that the developer is still in it and it is very active. until you wash it out completely. So if you don't wash it out completely, you'll come back to realize that your wig has gotten brighter than what it was as at the time you kept it. Now, something happened when I was coloring this hair. It wasn't intentional, but yeah, it was intentional actually. I put from the tips first because I wanted the tips to be lighter than the top all the way up. But I wasn't doing it so that the top will be dark completely. But hey, that's what it is, an experiment, and I love how it is, how it came out. The bottom is a bit light, is lighter than the top. Like at each face there's like a gradient of colors. You will see it by the time we're completely done. So I'm proceeding to wash it off. And then coloring hair is a lot of work because after coloring you gotta treat it. If you don't treat it, you're making a complete mess. You've not done a good job and you do not show yourself a professional. So we proceed to rinsing it out until you've completely rinsed out the whole coloring cream from it. Can you see that water? It keeps changing color, meaning that you still have some product, you still have some products on your wig and you have to wash that out completely. Keep watching. So for treating, we're going to be using a Tresemme shampoo for colored hairs. If you've joined or you ever joined the wig revamp class, or you've ever heard me talk about products, you would know that I always say use the right product for your wigs. Now, this hair was originally black and then we've changed the color, so we've applied colors in it. And so we're going to be using that Tresemme shampoo for colored wigs. Now, it must not be Tresemme, right? But hey, this is why I use and preach Tresemme, because Tresemme has products for every hair type and texture. I have not seen another brand that has the same. Well, you could see a brand that has its specific one for maybe just colors or maybe for just colored hairs, but with Tresemme you can get they have a full range of products. So that's why it's easier for me to assess, it's easier for me to get, and I love it. They've done a fantastic job and they make my wigs come out fantastic well. So I go on with proceed with my treatment, but first I have to wash it. So it's like I'm doing a whole new revamp, but it's necessary because we don't want to give our clients their wigs looking like trash, and we don't want to do a bad job. We want to do an excellent work, right? So we'll proceed after washing it. This is it after washing. I just need to show you what's this like on the table. Can you see the color difference already? Can you see the gradient colors? So we proceed to rinsing it out. We'll rinse it out, and you know the rest of it, right? We'll continue to rinse until the water is clear. So we're done with rinsing, and I'm sorry. I thought I was recording the part where I had to treat the hair, but let me tell you the process. So after shampooing, I mixed my conditioner, I mixed it with my hair mask, I also mixed it with my oil, hair serum, any good hair serum can go. I used Hawaii Silky hair serum, and then I mixed all of them together in that bowl that I used to mix the colored product, and I applied it on it, and then I put it inside a Ziploc bag. I thought I recorded that. I am so sorry that I did not. And this is happening like some weeks after, so I obviously cannot go back to to show you that again. So I'm just going to proceed to rinsing out all of those things that I did. So I put it in that Ziploc bag, and I put it in the hair steam bag, and I steamed it for, I left it overnight. Actually, I left it overnight, so it's not up to 24 hours. Let's say 12 hours. I left it overnight. I left the I left it overnight so that it could properly sit in, but I did it in low heat so that my hair doesn't get burnt. Some of you are gonna come to my DM to ask me, or rather in the comments to ask if you can put it in a microwave. Honey, please, or if you just color the hair, do not put it in a microwave, because the tendency for that hair to get burnt is really, really high. So yeah, I had rinsed it out. You can see there's still some products coming out of it, and that's completely normal. You're not doing anything wrong, and it does not mean you don't understand your job. It's just how it is, right? This is products from the mixture of everything I did. This should be like my second rinse. And yeah, we'll proceed to rinsing for the last time, and then you're gonna see what it looks like. So we're done rinsing, and because I want to show you what it looks like, I have to use my hand dryer. I would naturally, you know me, my slogan is always leave it to air dry, but it's a hand dryer, so I can control the amount of heat that is going to be applied on it. So I'm just going to use my hand dryer to dry this up. I had to skip some part because if I had shown you all the process for drying, we would sleep here. And this is the final look. Like, this is how it is. It's still a little bit damp, if you can notice it from the video, but you can see that, right? um I love how it is. I'd have loved you to hear what I was saying in this video, but no, let's just continue. So this is me just showing you what the hair looks like. It hasn't been styled. Nothing has been done to it. This is just straight. You watched me just color this hair from start to finish, and I dried it with my hand dryer, and I had to just part it to that side. You can see so that it will have some kind of form, and then I wore it, and this is what it looks like. I'll show you what the back looks like, and I absolutely love it. Now you can see the color gradient. It's very browny at the bottom, or looks like a bonnet, and the brown keeps decreasing and looks darker until you get to the top, and I absolutely love it. There's a video on this. When I finally style it, I'm gonna come show it to you, but maybe it's gonna be in the shots. If you're new to this channel, thank you for joining. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Also, if you've been following us, thank you so much for watching. Keep your fingers crossed. Click on the notification bell. We intend to drop a whole lot of video this year. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Bye for now.